No, so we've been through all 10 postures. I think I've even redid one already, a slight difference. But there were no questions about any of them, and I don't need to do the exact same lesson again that I've just done that's up to view from earlier in the unit. So I thought what we might do is take the essence of Nei Kung and try to pull it into our first section a little bit with some continuous form practice. We do continuous form practice sometimes without an emphasis, just doing the form. In this class, it would be the first section, right? We could do the whole thing, but that wouldn't be very fun if you don't even know the first section. It would be informative if you could stick with it, but it would not be fun. So sometimes we talk about the 10 important points when we do the form and focus on that. But let's do a little of taking our Nei Kung into our Tai Chi. So first of all, why isn't it identical, right? Well, the way it was probably told to me this way, it seems like I thought of this, but I was probably told this and didn't realize it was true. But Nei Kung is exaggerated alignment of Tai Chi. So you'll see some people have very rounded Tai Chi and it'll look more like Nei Kung. Like, for example, the late CK Chu. Now, while we're not going to change our form to be that rounded, that Nei Kung, that, anyway, what we will do is take little elements from that and try to incorporate it into our first section. So, what are some of those elements? Well, let's get into embracing horse again. So we could really pick any posture and find some element of it in the form, but let's start here. So sink down into your embracing horse. Feels a little different after the set, right? When you start with embracing horse, it feels different, in my opinion, in my experience. But what do we have going on? We have the toes in, knees out, pelvis tucked. You've heard that before, once or twice. You know, we could go through all of the Nei Kung principles. Shoulders, elbows lowered, chest concave, head suspended, waist loose, quad loose, deep breathing. I'm going all out of order, so. So just think on those for a moment. Feel through those for a moment. And release. Okay. So what we'll do is we're going to go through the first section just focusing on the tuck. Now it might not be as much of a tuck if you're not, so say I get down to a very low embracing horse. The tuck is pretty substantial down here. As I come out and make it smaller, there's less and less tuck until I'm finally not doing anything and then the tuck might go away. But as long as I'm doing anything, there's a little bit of tuck. As long as my legs are a little bent, there's a little bit of tuck. If you have any questions, let's do the first section, see if it makes sense to you, even though I won't have feedback to know whether or not it does. But let's see what happens. And then we'll maybe talk some more, or maybe just bow out. But we might do this twice. That would be cool. If you don't know the entire first section, if you don't know any of the first section, don't worry. If you copy the feet and try to keep working on your tuck, you will be making progress, whether you feels like it or not yet. So legs straight, you don't really want to lock them out, but let's start from an extreme lack of tuck, just so we can feel it happen. And then begin. As you sink down, feel a bit of the tuck. And then as you sink down more, feel a little more of the tuck. It's subtle, but it's a little more. And then continue. I'm not going to talk through the whole thing, thankfully, for you. But I'll periodically remind you to check that you're tucked in the pelvis. Check the tuck as you shift from leg to leg. As you go back, you might tuck in more. As before, you might untuck a little bit, but don't untuck all the way. Feel it with the mid-leg. Tuck a little more. Tuck a little less. sprints, please. Russian push section. Feel the tuck in all your postures. Follow through. Russian push 2. As often happens, continuous practice will go a little slower than class practice. The tuck is there. And we'll see if the tuck is there. Oh, the tuck for sure. Tuck for sure. Draw and push. And looking over your shoulder. I'll give you cues just in case. Cross hands, feel the tuck before you turn. Feel the tuck before you step. Feel the tuck. Till it goes away. Okay. So I'm wondering if how your experience was compared to mine running through that. I found there were a few moves where I was not quite as tucked as I should be. You know that when I'm teaching, I don't really get to show you my best Tai Chi, unfortunately. It sounds like I'm making an excuse for myself, but it's really just a fact that when I'm thinking of what I'm going to say and what you might need, and something's taken away. But during that run through, I was able to feel something that might have not been there otherwise. So maybe you felt on some move that you had lost your tuck or never had it and didn't realize it until that time. And now maybe it's stuck in your mind that next time you get to that move, even though you're not focusing on the tuck, maybe you'll think about it and just do it. We got time, let's do it again. Same focus. Keep it tight. Go a little faster. Still not fast. Uji stance before you begin. They call this and then we begin. Feel the tight. Tuck is there. Tuck is there. Good tuck. If you switch legs, or I find when I switch legs, it's especially crucial when not using it. Or when you go from substantial on one to the other. If you find a lot of tension around your hips from trying to tuck so far, don't beat yourself up about it, but do try to relax through. See if you can get your tuck even from relaxing under. That makes sense. Relaxing the hips under rather than forcing. Relax the hips under. Hidden hand punch. Definitely feel that tuck when you shift back. Too late now, sorry. Feel the tuck here. Feel the tuck here. Well, oh wow, we're out of time for Black Sash training. We're actually over time a little bit, but hopefully you felt some of your Nei Kung work connect to that. If it just confused your form, I'm sorry. Sometimes on the way to getting better at our form or our Nei Kung, it gets worse for a bit, or it feels worse at least, because we got used to doing it a certain way, right? So, don't be discouraged if it didn't help right away. If it did help right away, then great, awesome. Let's bow out our Black Sash training. First, our life skill. The path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. Focused mind sees no obstacles. The path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles. The path of self-mastery requires a focused mind. A focused mind sees no obstacles.